ever hear. Here's why. In the next few days, all Americans will face extremely hard choices. If we've learned anything from China and Italy, it's that quarantines and enforced lockdowns are just a few days away here in the U.S. Listen, while dehydrated food is becoming scarce, you can still get enough open pollinated heirloom seeds to grow a 1-acre crisis garden. The truth is, growing nutrient-dense vegetables in the days ahead may actually be the single most important thing you do. Go to survivalseedbank.com and watch the new video to understand the nature of the threat. This could be life-saving. Lockdowns can last from 6 to 8 weeks. Get free bonus seeds, special quarantine reports too. Go to survivalseedbank.com. That's survivalseedbank.com.
One of the largest pork-producing facilities in the country is closing until further notice. With the details, here's USA Radio Network's Chris Barnes.
A processing plant that accounts for about 5% of the pork production in America is now shutting down after scores of workers there were infected with coronavirus. About 240 employees at the Smithfield facility in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, have tested positive for the illness. In announcing the move yesterday, Smithfield President and CEO Kenneth Sullivan said the country is now being pushed, in his words, perilously close to the edge in terms of our meat supply. He also warned it's impossible to keep grocery stores stocked if plants are not running.
NASCAR driver Kyle Larson issues a video apology and owns up to a racial slur that he said Sunday night during an iRace event. NASCAR and Chip Ganassi Racing have suspended Larson. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Working from home? I'm Chad Dodd, veterinarian and consultant to Limp Bells. Here are some tips for keeping your dog fit while staying at home. Find 15 minutes twice a day and walk your pet at a decent pace around your place. Play hide and seek by hiding some kibble or favorite toys and letting your dog find them. If you have stairs and your dog is mobile, walk up and down twice a day for 5 to 10 minutes. Or better yet, try a power walk on your terrace or backyard for some fresh air. There are more helpful pet care tips at youmove.com, spelled youmove.com.
OPEC members met over the weekend and agreed to a $10 billion per barrel cut in oil production beginning May 1st. That will have little impact with the price at the pump due to the reduced rate of driving around the world because of the coronavirus. USA Radio Network's John Clemens reports.
Patrick DeHaan of GasBuddy.com tells us the price at the pump for American motorists continues to fall.
The national average has dropped 8 cents a gallon in the last week and currently stands at $1.83 a gallon, 45 cents lower than a month ago, and a whopping $1 per gallon lower than 1 year ago.
Looking across the country, DeHaan tells us there's a widespread price difference.
Across the country, the nation's lowest prices can be found in the state of Wisconsin, where the average is $1.29 per gallon. The priciest gasoline can be found in the West Coast, where Hawaii leads with prices still at $3.15 on average, followed by California at $2.86 and Washington State at $2.60.
This is John Clemens reporting.
ABC's Good Morning America and This Week host George Stephanopoulos says he has COVID-19. He revealed his diagnosis on Monday and talks about his experience.
I went to bed early with some lower back pain. I actually thought it was from a hard workout, and it cleared up the next morning. And then several days after that, I had one day where I had a diminished sense of smell, but that's really been it.
For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.
The following is an America Matters media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
Stories we've told, points their own. Stories we've told, standing at the time. Stories we've told, points their own. Stories we've told, till the end of time.
Welcome to What's the Story? My name is Janice Herfson. And Doug is actually watching on Facebook.
Oh my gosh,
today.
He's got a new toy. He's got a toy. He won't say anything today.
Like I say, I'll be mesmerized
That's right. He's watching his computer. He's not going to be able to walk and chew gum today, right? Somehow I don't think that's true. I think that he'll be a big participant in this conversation we're going to have.
I need some makeup. I'm a little red tinted. Please, powder.
You're gonna need more than makeup.
I need some of that Pat Sajak powder.
It's because you spent some time outside this weekend, right? Doing
I
a little
did.
gardening or
I
whatever.
did.
Yeah.
I did. It was nice. A little therapy for me.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah, I took my dog for a walk on Sunday.
Yeah, we did too.
Yeah.
Or he took us for a walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dog's too little to take me.
Oh.
I take him.
Nice.
I used to have a big dog that dragged me along.
I do.
It looked funny.
I do have a big dog, and for literally years, he was skin and bone.
Huh.
And we changed his dog food, we did this. Finally, we found out that he has an allergy to grain, which is in the dog food. So we have to give him gluten-free food.
Hey, April, see?
He's eating better than you.
Oh, yes. and now he's put on about 10 pounds and is bouncing off the walls.
Just put him back on Purina.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
Have you ever heard that, though? A gluten-free dog?
Yeah, dogs have all kinds of things, same things as people.
If you start listening to veterinarians, you're in trouble.
Where did that come from? That noise we just heard. Who was that?
That's April. Come on.
You don't see me. You can't see me, Doug. I can't see any of you. I'm talking to my face, to my own face. So.
Did you move the? It's like you're in a Foot Locker.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I like that mirror and the lamps.
Oh, you can see. I still can't see you, though.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that a bottle of champagne in the background?
Yeah. Well, it's used. It's a bottle. When I had my book launch party for The Altered Eye way back when, we had loads and loads of people at open house at my house, and that was a bottle of Dom Perignon from my mother-in-law. And I saved it.
Nice. I figured you'd be in front of like your beautiful window coverings.
Well, they're right here. I can show you the beautiful window coverings.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks great. You have a beautiful house from what we can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I presume Kepler Design took care of those window coverings.
Well, I was thinking so, and I was
Oh, there you go. Oh, that's great.
I'm just curious to see where she's going to be next week.
That's right.
I'm usually right here.
All right. Well, we have an interesting show today, I hope, for those of us
who... starting off great.
Yes. There you go. There's the window coverings. We are going to talk a little bit about the experiences that some of the folks that were willing to share their stories with us. We're going to keep it generic. We're not using people's names. We're not going to talk about particular banks, but I did get some feedback. It's really general from the banks. They don't want to share a whole lot. They're just afraid to say anything, I think.
They're all CYA.
Yes.
Right, that's how they live.
So the idea of this was to find out if you've applied for an SBA program. If you did, what experience have you had so far? Has anybody gotten a loan that you know of? And then later on in the show, we're gonna keep it light. We're gonna do some fun Easter stuff and talk about some trivia that you guys might not even know about.
Do you have any eggs to hide?
Not for you guys.
Bummer.
I didn't even hide them from my grandkids this year. I didn't get to have them there. That was just such a bummer. And then actually Bobby Joe on Blues and Kids is also going to share his story about what he's done and as far as his application process, etc. Ed's probably going to share a little bit. April can too if she wants to, or if she knows anyone who might have done something. And some people aren't applying, by the way. This isn't like a blanket, everybody's applying because they, want money. This truly seems to be, at least the people I've spoken to, whether or not they need it. It's not so much just, I'm going to take it because it's there. So, and I think that's because you're dealing with business people.
I just thought, this is a great idea. In writing my book, I created a business. I wonder if they would believe me if I said I laid myself off.
So here he is.
You know, Doug, we were there. We did that 20 years ago. Jan and I, we've already done that. Been there, done that.
Yeah, no, 12 years ago we laid ourselves off, right?
Right. Been there, done that.
Yeah, not doing it again.
Yeah,
not
me neither.
This time around. No. All right. So I do know that there are a couple of banks, at least in the Reno area, and there may be more than a couple, but a couple that I know about that are actually working on Saturdays to try and get these loans processed. They may be working more than that. I don't know, but I did hear for sure that they're working on Saturdays. So it's not like they're, because some people have said, oh, the banks can never get this done. Well, I also know that they staffed up for this. They knew this was coming. The feds advised them, and so they knew it was coming, and they did get some extra staff ahead of time, which to me is amazing that they got it ahead of time because it happened so fast.
Well, even if they knew they needed it.
Exactly.
Banks have procedures for interaction with the public, but they're a necessary business, so they're all operating.
Right, they're all operating, but the thing that surprised me was that they staffed up ahead of the rollout, which means they had to have been told ahead of time.
Right.
Which, how much ahead of time could they have known? This was not.
Well, right. This
is
pretty quick.
Yeah, it was done pretty quickly. So we're going to talk more about this when I come back. I did get, in addition to talking about the banks, we're going to talk about what people have experienced. I have a little experience, not big, but a little bit. And so if you have a story, if you want to share on Facebook, you want to call in 844-790 8255. You can text us at 775-237-2266. Any way you go about it, this is What's the Story. We want to hear yours, and we'll share ours. There we go. We're out, but we're still on Facebook. So if anybody's out there and listening and wants to share their story, please do it. Do it. Did you do a watch party, Ed, or no?
No, I haven't done anything. Go for it.
No, I'm not going to do that because then I can't leave my page, and I leave my page all the time. So
Doug is at home on Facebook?
No, he's here.
Oh, you're in the studio now.
Yeah?
No.
You're all in the studio, except for me.
Except for you, my dear.
I can't leave the house. I'm not allowed.
That's all right. No worries.
It's like my cousin's, it's kind of a long story, but a family member sent me a funny thing. She said, she feels like she's 16. Gas prices are low and she's grounded.
That's awesome. I love it.
I was like, yeah, gas is cheap, but I'm grounded, so.
You can't use it.
I'm
16. What a pity.
I know. Have a pity party.
Have some kind of party, right? Yeah, we all shared yesterday for Easter, we all shared our dinners. Mine was the worst.
Yeah.
My kids had a great dinner, but it's just me, right? John's not eating right now. He's back on a feeding tube, so I had to fix myself dinner. So it was like, what am I going to fix?
I did this. I did crock pot.
Hey, baby, burger and fries. It's the first time I've ever had burger and fries for Easter.
I had to open
an
dinner.
unconventional holiday, I guess.
It really was. It was kind of fun. Sorry, Doug. I keep interrupting you.
Oh no, that's okay. Me?
Yeah.
I have to blurt it out there because it's like a vapor. It just comes and goes.
Oh my!
I forgot some notes. I have to run, so I'm going to disappear for a second.
All right.
But I'll be right back.
Okay.
And then yesterday I was in a bit of a frenzy. I don't know what happened, and I deleted every single one of my emails. So. I know.
You know.
I had a rough weekend. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Well,
why did we stop?
I don't know.
Because April left.
You know, this is really cool being able to see yourself here. What you have to do is just every now and then go like this.
No, the one real thing it does show is like I can adjust the sign.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah. And I keep moving the chair so
it's
you
all
can't
good.
adjust the
They can read my name, but not my number. Maybe it'll spur a curiosity fact.
Well, what do we have to do to get? Do I need to move this?
Nah,
do you need this?
No, it's all good.
If you don't need this, I'll move it.
Stand
there
by.
we are.
Here we go. Ooh. Oh. It'll happen. There's a delay, Doug. It'll happen. Watch it. It'll just disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will. All of a sudden, it just
Yeah,
won't
it'll be
there.
gone. You'll look over there, it'll be gone.
You could talk.
Here we go.
Hey, welcome back. This is What's the Story? And the story today is probably what you're listening to all the time if you're listening to the news at all. And it's about loans and are people getting money and what's going on. I actually was listening to Tom Sullivan coming in, and a guy called in and said that he had gotten his stimulus check. So
Really?
yeah.
I looked today.
Or actually in the bank account, not a check.
I was looking at mine today, but it didn't happen.
Not for you, huh?
Not yet.
My sister looked too. Not for her. So.
I didn't get anything.
There you go.
Yeah,
So
me
it
neither.
hasn't hit that letter or that area or however they're
Well, what are you going to
defining
do
it.
when you get it? Right? I mean, it's like, I can't spend it, right?
Yeah.
I'll probably pay more taxes with it.
Oh, there you go.
Likely. I was going to say I could buy some more roses, right?
There you
Isn't
go.
that
plant
nice?
some more.
That's nice to know the government sends you money so you can pay your taxes.
Yeah, I just turn it around and send it right back.
Well, I thought they were sending it to us so we could spend it and spur
That
the
was
economy,
the idea.
but
The
if
guy,
you can't spend it.
Yeah, the guy that was on the phone was asking Tom Sullivan, because Tom Sullivan has a financial background, was asking him, kind of what should I do with this? And he basically, first he said, go ahead and spend it on cigars and booze.
Good
and
luck
then
buying it, yeah.
He said,
Online.
no, you really shouldn't do that. You really should go ahead and put it away. So even, that's not really the intention. The intention is that if you need groceries, you need, all of those things, this is going to help you be able to take care of that. So,
but it eventually gets into the economy, and that's what they're after.
that's really what they're after, yeah. So, and then one other thing about the banks, talking about the SBA loans and all the different options that are out there. One of the things, and again, this is in a general sense that I got from the banks that I was able to reach that were willing to say anything at all, is if you fall into the criteria for these loans and the funds are available, you're going to get the loan. That's not going to be a problem. So it's all about the criteria. It means having your formation documents, your payroll and utilities, have that stuff gathered together. Even if they haven't asked you for it yet, gather it together, get ready, so that when the time comes, you can be ready and hit the ground running, because, obviously they've got a whole lot going on. So what I asked the individuals that I spoke to was if they'd applied to any bank for any kind of assistance, or an SBA loan, which is done online, and then whether or not they were willing to share that. So there's the PPP loan, which is the Paycheck Protection Program, the EIDL loan, which is Economic Injury Disaster Loan, and a couple of other ones. But those two are the main ones for this that most people would be involved in some sense. So one person told me that they did apply directly to SBA on April 6th, and they got a confirmation number, but felt there was no way to follow up, and that they'd searched the site for some place to go and couldn't find anything. So I knew I had to do something, so I decided to do the same thing. So I went on and I applied because, we'd like to be able to pay our rent and do all the different things.
Well, that's always cool.
So I did the same thing. And what happens, and I don't know, I know you're not really going to be able to see this, but you can see the piece of paper and you can see how little information is on there. However, what it does say, it gives you your number, and it tells you you're not going to receive an email confirmation, that you're going to be notified through the email address you submitted, and then they tell you what that address is when they are starting to process your application. So you will be notified. We're so used to instant gratification. I think that we sometimes aren't used to having to wait. You gotta
So,
wait.
but not with a situation like this, I think they've been remarkably fast.
I do too. Yeah,
Remarkably fast. I mean, banks have moved like I've never seen them move.
Well, they're telling you in this that they expect this to take about a week. So next week, I will let you know if anything at all happened. Well, they didn't have to say that. They shouldn't have said that as far as I'm concerned. You and I have been in banking, and they shouldn't say that. But they did. So, okay. And then they tell you, please write down your application number or print this page for your record. So that's one bit of feedback. Did you want to say something, April? I keep talking.
No, I'm just saying it's really nice that there's these options for people. It sounds really good to me.
Right.
If you are feeling, overwhelmed, that you have this option. A lot of options, actually.
Right, and there is one local bank, and I'm not going to mention their name. I'm not here to advertise anything, and plus we don't want anybody to get inundated. But there is a local bank that is contacting their own customers and asking them to apply for the PPP loan. So they're being proactive.
Yeah.
And they haven't heard anything yet. But, I mean, it's been like, what, a week? So I wouldn't expect... Go ahead.
I think just from my own bank experience, and I've been with the same bank for a long time, we had issues with them because they were not treating us very well at all. And maybe I think that they're trying to make up for that right now by being proactive.
Come on, you pretend. You're just like everyone else. You pretend like they care, right? They pretend like they know you. They pretend they do
they
that.
don't.
So, but anyway.
Okay.
I was trying to get a credit line, and it was like in the past, they knew me and they just said, here, sign here. Okay, you have a credit line. Then a couple of years ago, we wanted to do it again, and they wanted multiple tax returns. It was 12 pages. Then I had to send it back, and then I was missing a page, and I had to do it over again. And then I aged out of their program.
That's a regular loan.
Yeah, that's a regular loan. Unfortunately.
Yeah, so we learned. We're like, oh, forget that. We're gonna just do it ourselves, no matter what it is, and we're never gonna talk to them again.
All right. Well, so I also asked, how do you feel about the process? This was to individuals that had gone through this. Are you optimistic, angry? Just wondering, what do you think they could do better? One answer I got, just wish there was a way to see if they really got the app. So because, so it's important to read what you get. So if you're listening, they did get your app. I'm sure they did, and they'll email you when that happens.
When they want more stuff.
Yeah. And the other thing that came across, there was a promise that you would get $10,000 sent to your bank account within 3 days after applying. I gave them my bank account number, have not seen any money yet. Well, I suspect, and this is only my suspicion, that it's not 3 days after applying, it's 3 days after they have approved.
So your disclosures and all your stuff.
Yeah, generally
That's
speaking.
Exactly right.
But on this particular app, they actually had you just put in your bank account number, so they're gonna just drop that money in. Yeah, you're not signing anything else. You affirmed everything right then and there. So it's not a loan; it's a grant. So
that's interesting, because I was talking to a lady who is a hairdresser, and her brother's an attorney, and her brother about 2 weeks ago said he was applying for grants to keep his law firm and pay his employees. So I thought, oh, a grant, that's an interesting way to do that.
And that's what this is. This is a grant. You do have to tell them what your gross income was for last year, and if you have cost of goods sold, what that is. So my suspicion, they're going to take the gross income less the cost of goods sold, divide it by 12, multiply by 2, and that's what you're getting, up to $10,000.
Wait a minute, go over that formula again.
That was perfect. You can tell she whipped out her banker on that, right?
My banker hat
whipped out her banker on that. Nice. I liked it.
I knew you'd get it. All right. And then another comment, there was an article that said Bank of America received 178,000 loan applications worth $32 billion. I won't do the snide remark that came after that, but
none are approved.
Well, that should only take a few hours, right?
Yeah, right.
Wells Fargo Bank stopped taking applications at $10 billion. So, I'm a solution-oriented individual. So, what does an entrepreneur do? That's the way I looked at this. And I said, well, what would I do? And I'll tell you honestly what I have done. I went to Indeed.com. I typed in temporary, because I'm not looking for a job, but I am looking for some money. So,
Aren't
right?
we all? Yeah.
Right? Well, if you're an entrepreneur,
maybe not.
So
Tell me where you find it. I want to go find it too.
Indeed.com has 363 temporary jobs available. 329 of them start at $12.50 to $50 an hour. Huh. So if you don't have money to serve your business, or your business is out of business for the moment, you can go do something temp. In Charleston, South Carolina, there are 236 temp jobs. In Columbus, Ohio, 700. So it wouldn't hurt. If you really need some money to get you by until either the grant or the PPP comes through, you can at least eat, feed your family, pay a couple of bills, stash some money, whatever it might be.
Hey, I was in the banking pandemic, if you
Yes.
will, right? I was too slow, and I gutted it out, and I couldn't even, I was looking for a job as 7-Eleven night clerk,
Well,
right? I couldn't get it.
I mentioned last.
I'm serious.
Well, that was a different world too. That was a different time. But there was the census, and I went and I got a job doing the census because I had to work.
Yeah.
We had no
Yeah,
loans. I mean,
I
our
know. Well, I
loans
had
were falling out every 2 seconds.
Yep.
You'd go to sign, and they'd say, "Sorry, that bank closed."
Yep.
So this is so different, and
Banks are working.
yeah, they are. And I think that it would be beneficial to anybody who can, that they should go and find something. And they aren't all delivery jobs. They're not all, those types of jobs. There's lots of different variety of jobs. So use your skills, get out there, solve your problem.
Or learn a skill.
Or learn a skill.
Learn
There you
something
go.
that-
There you go.
Ed said the job as a pole dancer fell through.
Uh-oh.
For me. You're still eligible.
All right. What's the story? Boy, is that a story. We'll be right back. Oh, my goodness.
Nice. You did good on that.
Thanks.
I found that was really interesting.
Yeah,
And
I
was
have
having the
more,
same-
but we can do that later.
So I'm going to go adversity. Just go back, right? Just think about what's changed. That's where I'm going.
What's changed? I don't know.
Best I can tell, Washoe County, nothing. Right? I mean, anyway. Right? I mean, it's all perspective. It's all perspective.
It is perspective. You're correct.
Doug has stats to back me up.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, and I have
do
more
you think
stories,
we're
but
gonna
I don't
be in
have
this-
time, so.
You think we'll be in this lockdown through the end of May?
No chance. People will
It depends
revolt.
on what California does.
I think there's rioting.
They will be. There'll be domestic fun and all that stuff's happening already. People are bubbling up 2 weeks. I think it's going to be a stretch to hold on to April.
I agree. I think it's going to be
I
hard.
mean, the only thing is the governor went that far, and but to me, he can't go. It's disrupting your life. It's
Yeah.
400
Even getting outside, and my friend is in California, and they said the trails are closed.
Really?
Yeah, trails, you can't hike or anything.
well. I mean,
And then I read another guy wrote, well, I can't shelter in place if I lose my home. I can't, hide in my house if I don't have a house.
So didn't California do what they did here and say no foreclosures?
Yeah,
no.
there's a recourse, right? As you remember,
Oh yeah.
they're allowing you to miss 3 payments.
Oh good. Oh joy.
So there is.
Oh
you
yeah.
can
And
can
then
pass.
we won't foreclose on you, will we?
No, so the deal is
no.
this: they are going to work with you and put them on the end, right? But when you don't pay 3 payments now, at the end you got to pay 4,
Well,
right? To
Ed,
pay the same interest.
I heard that same story, but there's different banks that do different things.
Of course.
What I heard is you can, bypass on 3 months. Then the 4th month, you have to go back and pay all of the money owed. And if you don't, they foreclose.
Well, that's regular. That's regular business, right? That's 3 months of non-payment. A bank can foreclose. They could start procedures. So usually at that point, they won't take one payment because you're so
Right.
far behind. They
That's
want
right.
it all.
All
So
or
that's
nothing, baby.
regular business. That's
Did you see
regular.
on
And
the
if they're
news
not,
about those-
if they haven't changed per the government, then they haven't changed that servicer, whoever it is. That's regular business.
Well, if somebody's 3 months delinquent, slim chance that they're going to bring it all current on the 4th month.
Well,
So, I mean, that's kind of silly.
Don't people usually pay a first and a last and a cleaning deposit?
that's rent.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's rent. I'm talking about rent, I guess.
So mortgage is just you live in the house and then you pay, so it's always in arrears.
So did you see on the news about those temporary homes and off Mill or whatever it is, those trailer homes
I did not.
What do you got?
for people that need a home? It's a little
10 seconds.
Yeah,
10 seconds, April.
they keep putting these homes up that they're
5,
going to burn after.
4, 3, 2.
Welcome back. That is a sign that it is time for the book blitz. Woohoo! Don't know how many of you guys have books today, but we'll go through whatever you got.
Oh,
And-
I have one.
Oh.
Well, actually, I have many.
Oh no!
Yeah. Well, wait a
take
minute. That
up
could
the
be
whole
two things. That could be a lot, or it could be a real small one. So.
That's true. All right, Doug, you go first.
Okay.
Give
Well,
us your
this
quick
is
book blitz.
This is it might be old news to a lot of people, but it was new news to me. Last week I told you that I was kind of branching out my reading, what I was looking at, and my wife said, "Here, try another Clyde Cussler book." And I thought, I've read a couple of them. I enjoyed them. They're quick reads. They're fun. Well, but this is kind of a terrible thing. I don't know how many people know it, but he passed away in February.
I do know that.
Yeah, he was 88 years old. He passed away, and he left quite a legacy.
We have almost every single one of those in
Yeah,
our store.
well,
I was
my
going to
wife-
say he hadn't written the last 20. I mean, I get it. but-
Yeah. Well, I think some of the books in his latter years, he had co-authors. I think maybe he was just setting the style,
Like all
and
of
the
them.
co-author, kind of filled in. But no, I would recommend Clive Cussler. I mean, he's a good author. They're quick reads. They're fun reads.
And there are a lot of them.
And there's a lot of
so
them if you like his
him,
style.
Yeah, if you like him.
It's like the Hardy Boys.
Yes. Yeah.
I like them. I've read them all. I think I listened to
The
them
Hardy
all.
Boys?
No.
Yeah.
Clive Cussler.
Oh.
Which book do you favor?
Do I favor?
Yep.
The ones I don't know, I can't by title, but the ones that have Dirk Pitt in it. Yeah,
That's all.
cool.
Dirk Pitt. Dirk Pitt's like my hero too.
Yeah. So
That's very funny.
that was kind of blitzy, wasn't it?
That was great.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. That's
Yeah.
great. So read Clive Cussler. There you
Yeah.
go. Easy for me to say. All right, April, what you got for us?
I actually do have a book, and I found it. It is called "They Went Left" by Monica Hess, and this is about, of course, it's a World War II story.
No, really?
What?
And so it's about a young woman, a young girl, and she's looking for her brother. Her family ends up in a concentration camp, and apparently her whole family went left. She and her brother went right. Going left meant to the gas chambers, and she and her brother survived, but they got separated. And so this book is about how she is trying to find her brother, and it was a promise that she made to him, and it's called "They Went Left" by Monica Hess. And she's also the author of The Girl in the Blue Coat. And this is also a World War II story, but not quite as, I don't think it's as dark as a concentration camp story. But, that's so in my wheelhouse. So
Well, that's good.
April, just to show you the things that you recommend do work, you had talked about last week's book was stories of
Oh yeah, of Fig, of something Fig. It was a children's book.
Yeah. Well, you
From
did such
Civil War.
you did such a great job of selling it. I ordered it online, so I'm looking forward to it coming. Yeah.
Oh, good. I think it's for all ages. And let me know what you think of it.
Yeah. I will. I will. It looked like it was kind of a easy read too. So yeah.
Oh yeah, it's for middle grade, I think, and
Yeah.
But some of those are very surprising to me, like the Book Thief, or the Book Thief was in the middle grade.
That was a good book. I read that.
Fantastic story,
Yeah,
excellent
it really
writing.
was. Yeah.
It was a contender for any adult fiction that I've ever read. So.
Yeah, I agree. It was
I don't
well
think
done.
you can underestimate these books that they have for kids nowadays. They're wonderful.
Yeah. Well, and I could say a lot about that. But I do like them too. So, no, I do. So my choices, I actually am going to be posting a whole bunch of bookshelves for you on What's the Story. We know that nobody can come into our store. So we took a section. This time it's the Western and the Men's Adventure. And I didn't call it Men's Adventure. It's right there on the books. So don't get mad at me.
Oh, is that girly books?
No, it's not actually. It's really Men's Adventure. It really is.
That's a girly book.
No. What did you say, April?
I said, what does that mean, girly books?
So I think he was talking versus how-to books. They're romance novels, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think there's a lot of men that like that genre as well.
There are actually. I have seen a lot of those. So this is going to be when I get them posted, the Western section, which has just tons and tons of different books. And like I say, we figured I even have Gunsmoke, Dodge the Devil.
I think I saw that movie on Grit last night.
Yes, and they're older books because we sell them for a couple of bucks, and so they're inexpensive, but they're great reads. Lots and lots of paperbacks, so I'm going to go ahead and post those. And so if you're interested in browsing our shelves, and especially if you're in the Reno area, we do curbside, so you can come by, you can browse the shelves, find what you like, and we'll be doing this periodically throughout the month. Putting up what we have, fiction, and we have sci-fi, lots of romance, and so.
What exactly is a romance book?
Say it again, April.
I think that's a fantastic idea. So we could look at
Yeah.
That's one thing I miss, going into a bookstore and just looking.
Yeah,
and getting
that's what we thought. So we thought, well, we'll just go ahead and take pictures. And then they're big enough on your screen, you can blow them up so you can look at what's on the shelf and you can decide if there's something you like. And even if you don't get it now, maybe you get it later or you get it online, email us, tell us what you want. We'll work something out. We will figure it out.
You know what I think's great about that? I don't know anybody else that's doing that.
Huh? Well, go figure.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, isn't that great?
Yeah.
You're
that is
you're
great.
cutting edge.
Cutting edge.
Well,
Yes.
other people think they have a clue.
Yeah.
Right?
So anyhow, I will get those posted, and hopefully you'll find something you like. And like I say, not in this batch, maybe the next batch. We've got more stuff. We've got political. We have lots of nonfiction, true crime,
Yeah.
a lot of Anne Rule. So yeah, a little bit of everything. So that's my book blitz for today. I do a bunch of books today.
Yeah.
So and we're also going to start doing our self-published authors and some of the small press authors. We're going to go ahead and we have a special place for them in the store. We're going to take pictures of their shelves as well and get them out there so you guys can take a look at some of those.
You know what? I'd like to ask a question on the air.
Oh, am I going to be in trouble?
Oh no! No. This is it's going to give us some direction.
I'll referee.
Okay,
good.
We have a little clip of my book being done as an audio book, but the decision that we're going to have is, should we do it or not do it? I mean, it's going to cost money to do it, and the reason that you spend that.
It's a substantial amount of money.
Yeah.
It is.
So.
Trust me.
Yeah. So can you earn that back? And
I actually did a calculation for you, and I'm willing to share that on the air if you'd like me to, because I haven't even shared this with Doug, so he doesn't know.
Okay, no, that's great.
But it's going to take, if you can get the maximum percentage from Audible, with what it takes for the average, including us, the average company out there to produce this. This isn't if you're doing it yourself. If you're doing it yourself, whole different calculation. But if you're paying somebody to do this, then it's going to be between 400 and 600 books that you need to sell in order to get your money back.
Oh! Shit. What are you gonna do with the second week?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but you know, I think
But
a lot
that's
of
what
it.
you need to know is
Yeah.
that it costs money to do it.
Sure.
And then to turn it. So what you really have to do is you have to get your print book out, you have to get your ebook out, you have to gather your following and get people excited about it, get the reviews. I mean, it's a business. It's truly a business.
Doug, you and me, we're going to put our books in the trunks of our car when all this is over, and we'll go through the neighborhood and we'll sell our books.
All right, hold on right there. Promise.
Well,
you guys, if you guys do that, you'll sell daggone books.
I will video you doing it.
Yeah, that's what it takes. You guys, while you got time, get your sphere together, get your target audience together in one email group, and we'll launch you.
This is going to be like the old Helms truck.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have a
Somebody
whistle.
just posted the Helms. If anybody isn't from Southern California, the Helms truck is a donut truck, and it used to come around the neighborhoods, and you would go outside and buy your donuts. Do you remember that, April?
No.
You didn't have a Helms
She
truck in
didn't
your
go
neighborhood?
outside.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a Helms truck in our neighborhood.
Oh, we did too. Yeah.
Totally fun.
Yeah, one of my sister-in-law's friends just posted that yesterday, and so it's funny that you mention it
Yeah,
because I was like,
yeah.
I forgot all about the Helms truck.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That was very cool.
I feel like sitting at the corner of my street with an umbrella and a folding chair and my books.
But you'd have to sell it to them at 6 feet, so you'd have to
I
make sure that
I'd have to put it on a pole like a butterfly net.
No, you got to put your book stand where they can touch it. You got to back off 6 feet.
Hey, April, do you have a Reno Gal Says for us today? I didn't even ask you.
I do have something.
Okay, and then if you run out of time, then we have a few more things I can talk about the SBA loans if folks are interested.
Yeah, I don't need to take the whole time.
Okay, all right. Well, we are going to be right back. You're listening to What's the Story? We're telling you nothing but stories today.
Yeah.
Lots of stories.
Yeah.
That was funny. But yeah, that's how John Grisham did it, right? He put all the books in his trunk. And
It was Jack Canfield.
Yeah.
Jack Canfield did that. I don't know if John Grisham did, but I know Jack Canfield did.
It's something I've been thinking about for years.
So Jan has done that. I've done that. Anyone who's got a successful business has done that. That's just real fact.
You know, when I was
right. I mean, if you're not willing to do that.
When I was in college, that's what the professor said about business. He says, if you think you're a good salesman, he says the one way to prove it is get a fuller brush route.
Yep.
And if you're successful at that, you will be successful in business.
I had a brother that actually did that.
Really?
Yeah.
See, did Fuller Brush go by the way of Helms?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where they are today, but yep. You know what I'm finding out is it's not letting me post a picture here.
What?
It won't let me post a picture.
I see Brian T. Shirley joined.
Yeah, Doug Ashby joined. Oh wait,
that was early.
That earlier.
That was early. He was the first joiner.
And Rick Cornell joined too.
Oh,
hey,
nice.
Rick. We'll be putting your book out there too, Rick, if you're listening still. So.
Get the trunk ready.
That's right.
Or first get a car with a trunk, right? Don't you guys? Does any car has a trunk anymore?
Why won't it let me post pictures? Maybe because I'm in as What's the Story. Maybe
I know
that's
Doug's vehicle doesn't have a trunk.
No.
I don't have a trunk.
I don't either. It's like trunk's like a boot. It's like a passing, right? If you got a hatchback, you don't have a trunk either.
Yeah.
Well, I will add the pictures after the show, I guess. I'm not sure why I can't do it.
What are you trying to add?
I'm trying to add pictures into the, I guess I'd have to do links.
It's probably because we're already a picture, technically. That's how they treat us. It looks as like, do you want to see the post?
Are you trying to add it into comments?
Yeah.
Yeah, it won't let you on
It won't let
live.
me do that.
Yeah.
It's too much. Too much.
Then I'll just add it as a comment on the show after.
That's the
underneath.
best way to do it, yeah.
And that's fine. That'll post it to other places too, so that's okay. Can I say?
Dan, with one of your computers, I want you to do a Zoom meeting with me so I can see somebody.
You want me to do a Zoom meeting with you?
So do you like video?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am getting used to this. I'm developing very bad habits.
I was going to say I really dislike it. Right?
Are you like
I really
wearing
don't like
shorts and?
No, but I do have a good T-shirt on today. Look, it's Book Hangover.
All right, stand by. Here we go.
Oh.
Hey, welcome back.
Whoa.
The book hangover, huh? The feeling of emptiness after finishing a good book. I presume that's what that said.
Yeah, that's exactly.
See,
you got
we're
it.
delayed.
I realized that was a little
Yeah.
bit. I don't know what that was in good taste or not to just shove my whole.
I didn't know anything was written on her shirt.
Now you do.
Well, one thing we don't.
No.
April's the same whether she's at home or in the studio.
Yeah,
right? We know.
The clip doesn't
She's-
pull it off. She puts it up.
There is definite consistency going on here. Right? I congratulate you for that, April.
April in the shirts.
That's right, consistency.
I think of you every time I clip my shirt.
But it does like to rip the shirt apart or whatever it does.
I don't know. It must be your shirt. It doesn't do that to mine.
Well, I have a very safe T-shirt on today, and there's nothing. But it does say book. It does say Book Hangover.
Yes, yes, that's very good, April.
Yeah, when you a friend of mine bought me that.
That's
so.
very nice. So, what does Reno Gal say today?
Okay, so I've been
Besides
talking a
that.
lot about motivation, and all this stuff, and it's, I don't know. I read this wonderful post on Quora. It's by this guy named Hector Quintanilla. And if you don't know what Quora is, it's a social media site, I guess, where you can have a question and thousands and millions of people will answer it to the best of their abilities. It used to be more professional. It used to be more, legit. I don't know what the word is.
Legit is probably correct.
It used to be really fascinating because they were professionals in their field of whatever that may be, psychology or rocket science or mathematicians, real historians, people who knew. Now it's just kind of like
everybody.
Yeah, everybody with an opinion. But this really
So it's
spoke to
likely
me.
the same, right? We just assumed it was like rocket scientists.
What this guy wrote really spoke to me because what I've been facing being at home is, trying to keep up my regular routine or whatever that is for whoever is trying to have a routine or whatever what prevents me from just staying in my pajamas all day, not brushing my hair and,
I would think your husband.
What prevents you from going to work every day?
Trying to stay, motivated in your home when you're trying to work, educate your kids or whatever you're trying to do. But the question was, what is the biggest lesson that life has taught you? And so he gave this little personal experience about a friend of his who he said, he told him, let's go to the park to exercise. And his friend said, that's great. I'm there every morning. I'll see you soon. So he started running with his friend. And he said somehow he got this sudden spark of motivation, and he thought that he would give 100% to his run, and he would compensate for all his bad habits in a single day. He ran and ran until my heart rate was going through the roof. And then he said, reality kicked in. I felt lightheaded. I lost my vision, and I fell to the ground. I felt like the earth was moving in circles. His friend was there trying to help him up. Should I call an ambulance? What should I do? He asked nervously. And so this Hector was saying, what was I thinking? It was just a spark of motivation. The next day he felt like a car had run over him and he gave up. So to answer the question about what was the important lesson that life taught him was that there are no shortcuts in life. People that are in great physical shape deserve it. It's not magic. It's not luck. They made this happen with their daily decisions. People who are successful deserve it. Success didn't happen by luck or overnight. They made it happen with daily decisions. And people who find financial freedom deserve it They fought for it through daily actions, many of which required hard work and daily sacrifice. And so he applies this to his parenting, where he draws the path of where his kids' decisions or actions are going to take them. He said, they want to do more social media, draw the path. Where is that going to lead you? You want to do more exercise? Draw the path. More reading? Draw the path. Who are your friends? Draw the path. More partying? Draw the path. So that's his take on life lessons, and that it's really not about motivation, because motivation is good, but it doesn't last. It won't see you through. Whereas developing that daily habits, and it takes time to develop a daily habit. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but every little day, every little bit of a habit. And so today I felt like that. I was like, because yesterday I had this total slouch day and I felt awful all day. And then today I thought, oh, well, I'm supposed to do this exercise and I'm supposed to do this, this, and that. All right, so what's my habit? I'm going to stick to my habits, because motivation will fail you, but a habit will pick up the pace.
Well, it kind of keeps you going, right? It kind of puts you into the movement.
My habits are all messed up, but I think it depends on your personality. There's people that are just like are born that way, roll out of bed and go. I'm not. I mean, I can be one sometimes, but I'm a tweener.
I am that one.
And you know what? I'm not that good. I have to work really, really hard, and I have. I said.
No, wait. You have to work very, very hard at what?
Connecting. Right? What you guys see me for, connecting with people, doing what I do. If I schedule myself dense and touch a lot of people, I'm just going, right? I'm going with momentum, appointment after appointment after appointment. When I don't have that, I'm struggling a little bit with connecting with people because I don't have face-to-face appointments now, right? I don't have that routine that I had. And so I feel like I'm doing nothing. In a way, and it's just routine, right? If you form good habits, it helps you, but I'm not that. I need that. I need those good habits to make me better.
But you also recognize that, and that's really important.
I'll get you that. Yeah.
What do you attach your good habits to? How far back?
Wow. So which time, right? I mean, how many times have I evaluated and done things? I just came off a really great run that I've been working on 3 years, right? And I'm still continuing it. This is just adversity in my way.
Yeah, but you had your good habits, or your habits.
So the last 3 years, I've been really good.
You've probably had them since you were a tyke.
I've also had the lazy part of me since I've been a tyke.
Yeah.
There's choices. What April's saying is when you have a routine, you don't have a choice. You go.
Oh, I hate that word routine. I mean, nothing drives me crazier than to get into a routine.
That routine's not a rut. A routine is, every day.
You schedule your productive things, right?
You
schedule the things that are going to move you to the next. What? April and I are agreeing on something. This is, man, write down this date. What is this?
April. What is today? The 12th?
Oh, it is. Of course, it's April 13th.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. 13.
Where was April on April Fool's Day? We just slid by that.
I was hiding. I never know. A friend of mine asked me. She said, how did you feel about April Fool's Day? And I said, I was terrified of it as a kid because I thought I was a special target. And,
it's the day I got sober. I chose it just as a ridiculous day.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's
very interesting. So every day I have to say, well, what day is this? I don't even know. Oh, it's Thursday. Or don't you feel like Groundhog Day a little bit? Like the same thing happens at the same time with the same people.
Well,
that's a rut, right? That's a rut, choices. Man. If you're doing the same thing every day, or you can't go forward with business, and then we go back to like planting roses, right? That's not productive for me.
No, I don't like ruts. Well, I like my habits that I'm developing, and believe me, I will fall. I won't do them all the time. But
so as an author, April, how do you fit that into your world with your work world and everything else? How do you incorporate what you're going to do when you're going to put your author hat on, take your Kempler design hat off?
It has to be scheduled, that writing. In fact, if I put my writing in place of exercise or shared it, I think I'd get a lot of writing done.
That's interesting. See, you just told yourself something.
Yeah. So hold yourself accountable now.
Accountable. My husband and I have this argument about accountability every day. So, and so he writes, he is really, really good at writing his blog every single week. It's every Sunday, I think. And it's usually it's at the same time of day. And that nothing changes nothing is a variation from that, writing that. And I think as a writer, when writing is paramount, and if you have a family, I mean, of course you have other responsibilities, but you will have to schedule the time to do that and put that in there. And then nothing takes that from there. If it's 10 minutes or if it's half an hour or if it's 8 hours, unless you're Kim Follett, we don't have the luxury of 8-hour days of writing, but,
that's funny because I really have a very different perspective of that, because I leave and that's just my personal style. There's a lot of variability. I make a schedule, but my schedule is usually within a weekend, not like that day. I don't have to do it that day. If I did that to myself, I would not get it done. I'm just not good at that. But that's where knowing your own personal style is important. What works for me probably wouldn't work for you, April, because I just view my time frames differently, and I like the flexibility. I like to say, well, I feel like writing today, and then something comes up and I like that idea better. I do it, but know that I have a slot to put it in the next day. So that's sort of how I manage to allow myself flexibility, but still keep to my schedule. So it's a really weird kind of way to do it, I guess. But
I'm still struggling with this, but I think I'm getting closer to figuring it out. And
COVID-19 will be something we'll remember for a long time, unfortunately.
Yeah, especially if you're one of them that
and
died.
Lockdown. Yeah. Well, but for those that are living, it's a rough time for them too.
It's going to be really hard.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, this is our long break. We're off for 5, but we'll be back after that with the second half and lots of entertainment, and it'll be fun. So come back with us.
So here's the choice. Some people say the USA is finished. It's evil, a has-been, full of hate and injustice. The U.S. Constitution should be trashed and the Bill of Rights abolished. No free speech, no gun ownership. Competition and free markets are bad. We're all too stupid. For our own good, the government must own everything and know all your secrets.
Other people say that America has created the freest, richest, happiest, most generous society that has ever existed in the world. That's why millions of people are desperate to come here and escape their brutal lives in Cuba, Venezuela, North Korea, and 100 other countries.
In America, we have the right to succeed, the right to our own living, the right to have a family, the right to believe in God, the right to have our own ideas, the right to be safe and secure, and the right to be left alone.
Where do you stand? Help us save the Constitution and restore the American dream. Go to SaveMyFreedom.com.
Brought to you by the American Media Council.
Rich is just a really, really, really good guy. The term good egg isn't enough to describe him. He's also certified organic and free range. Rich puts the cap back on everything. The toothpaste, the olive oil, the shampoo, everything. He lets his 10-year-old nephew beat him at virtual tennis, even though he can straight up slay his 10-year-old nephew in virtual tennis. When the toilet paper is running low, Rich replaces the roll on the actual holder, not just on the back of the toilet. Rich is texting and driving. Rich, no. What are you doing, Rich? I was just telling everyone how great you are. Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is America Matters Media Radio, heard worldwide on the web at americamatters.us and on KCKQ 1180 AM, Reno.
USA Radio News with Tim Berg.
President Trump says efforts to slow the spread of coronavirus are working. The president also says he's been on top of coronavirus from day one.
January 31st, not one person has died, and I issued a travel restriction from China. Think of it. So nobody died, and I issued. You can't get earlier than that. So we have nobody died, and I said, China, you can't come in. I'm sorry. Because I saw what was going on. So then, first mandatory quarantine in more than 50 years we did. First mandatory in 50 years. The same restrictions that the Democrats and the media called xenophobic.
President Trump also offering his condolences to the South after severe storms ripped through the region. He's also promising FEMA will work with authorities to help everyone clean up. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I have a compromised immune system, so I've been taking the 3 veggie and 3 fruit for 2 years, and I have not gotten sick. It's unbelievable. I feel like a normal person. I'm not tired. I don't wake up tired, and it's just amazing to me that there's such a difference.
I don't get sick. Everybody around me's got the flu this year. My wife had it. My grandkids got it, and I haven't gotten sick at all. My energy level is better. Body aches and pains, I just don't really have them anymore. The pills are incredible, and they're doing me a world of good. So thank you very much for that.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com, and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code USA.
The RNC and the president's re-election campaign are releasing their first quarter figures. With the details, here's USA Radio Network's Chris Barnes in Washington.
More than $212 million was raised in the first quarter by the president's re-election campaign and the Republican National Committee. The campaign raising $86 million in February before the coronavirus pandemic started to hamper things. That led to only $63 million being raised last month. The pandemic has led to multiple in-person fundraisers having to be canceled. For USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barnes.
The White House is again saying they are not firing Dr. Anthony Fauci, a top member of the coronavirus task force. A statement from White House spokesman Hogan Gidley says the media chatter over the firing is ridiculous. He added Dr. Fauci has been and remains a trusted advisor to the president. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Working from home? I'm Chad Dodd, veterinarian and consultant to Limp Bells. Here are some tips for keeping your dog fit while staying at home. Find 15 minutes twice a day and walk your pet at a decent pace around your place. Play hide and seek by hiding some kibble or favorite toys and letting your dog find them. If you have stairs and your dog is mobile, walk up and down twice a day for 5 to 10 minutes. Or better yet, try a power walk on your terrace or backyard for some fresh air. There are more helpful pet care tips at youmove.com, spelled YOUMove.com.
Car insurance customers are in line for $6.5 billion as Americans are driving less due to stay-at-home orders because of the coronavirus pandemic. USA Radio Network's John Clemens reports.
As the streets emptied to traffic, claims have dropped, causing a windfall for the insurance companies. Now some are paying their customers back. Doug Heller of the Consumer Federation of America tells us some of the companies are getting good grades like State Farm.
First goes to State Farm, which gets an A. This is the best plan for getting the most money back in a timely manner. State Farm has promised an immediate dividend to customers that accounts for about 25% of premium for the period of March 20th through May 31st.
Others are not making the grade.
Geico has promised a 15% reduction, but they get a D- because they are requiring customers to renew their policies before they will see savings.
NASCAR driver Kyle Larson issues a video apology and owns up to a racial slur that he said Sunday night during an iRace event.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm sorry. Last night I made a mistake and said the word that should never, ever be said. And, there's no excuse for that. I wasn't raised that way. It's just an awful thing to say. And I feel very sorry for my family, my friends, my partners.
NASCAR and Chip Ganassi Racing have suspended Larson. For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.
The following is an America Matters media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
Stories we've told, boys their own stories we've told. It's at the end of time. Stories we've told. talk till the end of time. Oh, said so will rise.
Welcome back. This is the second half of What's the Story. If you weren't with us in the first half, we talked a lot about the SBA loans and kind of routines and non-routines and what we're trying to do to accomplish things. So you're welcome to download that after we're off the air. We'll have it on Facebook and also on our YouTube at LeRue Press. So just go to YouTube and type in LeRue Press, LeRuePress, and you'll find us and all our other shows too. So hopefully you'll take some time and take a look. And we always have a lot of fun, regardless of COVID-19 or not.
Yeah, listening
right?
to our quality takes.
That's right.
That's right.
The in-depth, how deep we are with our knowledge.
Couldn't have said it better.
Well, we tell stories. Hopefully true stories.
What's the story?
That's right. True stories most of the time.
The nice thing about it is if they've never heard it before, we can make it what we want.
Oh, look at Doug. What is up with Doug today?
Come on, Doug. Don't tell people that.
Man.
Oh, okay. It's the
and
gospel.
April hung out with us a little bit longer. She's usually gone by this time, but I think she wanted to harass Ed a little bit.
Nice.
And because this is his time to share his story. So fire away, my friend.
Wow, so all of us, right? I don't know about you guys, but I am like tired of this, right? I'm off a little. And, my subject today is like getting my mojo back, right? Or getting our mojo back, right? I think we can see the end of this. I think we got to consider it May 1. And what are you doing? What are you planning? I mean, let's just think a second and go, what in your world has changed in the last month?
For me, other than not getting enough income, not a lot.
Right.
I'm still going to work every day.
Well, and that's where I was going. Nothing's changed.
That stinks.
We just have the fear, right?
Right.
And we're told to, be in place and things, but nothing's really changed, right? The energy level, the enthusiasm's changed. But where we were before and where we are now, it's not any different.
This is kind of a ladder you're on here. And Janice hit the nail on the head. Well, our income's changed. Well, if you don't have income, you don't have money to buy food. You don't have money to buy food.
But I'm self-employed. That's never stopped me from working. Right. And folks in our space have always, you just work.
Right.
Right, regardless of whether you have riches or not.
But this goes back to what I had talked about before, which is those inequities of you have some people in the same household that this person is working, and I happen to know a couple of them, this person is working extra and more hours, and this person isn't working at all.
Right.
And so now when those two forces come together, what do you think happens? That's not a pretty picture, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
At least not if it goes on for a long time. It may be okay initially because everybody understands and we're all in the same boat. But suddenly now
that's
you've got
politics.
Yeah.
And to me, that's why all businesses should be necessary.
Right.
Right.
Well, they are.
I mean, I totally believe that. But
like I've always said, we fall into a necessary category by an inch, right? And we're glad for that. We're glad we get to go in. And I want to comment on, but every business I think is necessary because the rest of our business is as important as that one little piece of it, right? So my view is, we're all necessary. However, I think that, and I lost my train of thought, so go ahead. Fire away. I did. I just lost it.
See, it's like a vapor.
It is. It just
it's
went
an
away from me.
opportunity, right? I mean, I think these are opportunities. If folks aren't happy with what they're doing, they can choose something new.
Right. That was where I was going. Thank you. You got me there. My point was that when this happened, what happened to us is we looked at it and said, we have to pare down. We have to look at where are the money makers, which you always do when you're in business. But when something like this happens, you have to really structure quickly. And you have to be, you talked about the pivot.
Right.
You have to be quick to pivot. You have to pivot immediately and say, okay, where are we going now? And so it helped us reshape what we wanted to do over a long period of time. We've done in 10 minutes.
Well, right. And we get it looking at, I have my opinion, right? But I'm a banker, right? Banks don't think that way.
No.
Yeah.
To make money as a small business person, and Jan, to make money, we have to parallel, right? You got to parallel big from time to time. And for me, it's refinances, right? My business now,
So
rates are low.
Yeah.
So I shifted to do refinances so I can save people $200 a month, right? So I can be part of their solution, right? Right? People have time on their hands. They should be reading books. They should be looking at access. They should be doing more online things. And so we've shifted to be more compatible with big, and everyone should be doing that, right? Or planning on doing it. And that's really my point. Like, let's not let the coronavirus steal all the thunder. Let's let our businesses benefit by thought, right? Look ahead, anticipate. Be ahead of the curve, because, this thing's going to pass and they're going to go, where are you now?
Yeah. April, have you guys shifted any because of that? You got a little under a minute.
Oh, yeah. We've definitely have been focusing in different areas. Paul has, we talk about this frequently with our business, and that Paul has often been able to redirect the focus of our business, because we've been through several economic situation. Yeah, where, okay, that's not going to work anymore. We need to change how we do this. And so I think now is a really good opportunity. We talk about opportunity a lot on the show with people that, okay, they're stressed, they're overwhelmed, they've got everybody's in the house, but now this is a time to really think things through, to change how you're doing things, and to focus on maybe doing
and you can eliminate things that you weren't sure. Should I eliminate it? Shouldn't I? You know what? It's gone.
Yeah, what the heck? Man, that's where chuck it.
Yeah, no time to think about that now.
No
so
time.
some of the stuff you can just throw away.
Yeah, analyze where you're spending your money the most. Do you need to spend your money there? Can you spend it here? Just shift where the money is going, and then pare back. Also, we've talked about that in the last hour. I think we talked about cutting back, scaling back.
All right. We are out. We're going to be right back. This is What's the Story?
Home at Last opens doors to family, to freedom, to finally making it yours. Home at Last, a program of the Nevada Rural Housing Authority, opens doors to rural home buyers with incomes of up to $135,000, providing down payment assistance of more than $22,000, plus access to our exclusive pet adoption program. From Gardnerville to Fernley to Carson City and even Sparks, rural happens here in every county in Nevada. Learn more at homeatlastnv.org.
Hi, this is Eddie Floyd. Let me tell you about my favorite non-profit public charity, Wainema Wild Horse Sanctuary, located on the Forsyth Ranch in Hallelujah Junction area. And please go to www.wainemaranch.com. That's WYNEMA ranch.com.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Getting to know you. Let me tell you about America Matters with Eddie Floyd. It comes on every Monday at noon. Don't want you to miss it. That's America Matters with Eddie Floyd.
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now back to the show.
Are you ready to sing the blues? Are you willing to listen to this next man? Man got his harmonica in his hand. Good God, ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Joe! Bobby Joe!
And welcome back, and that just tells us that Bobby Joe Holman is with us. Welcome, Bobby Joe and Blues and Kids.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure. Even it's kind of windy and cold, but the sun is out. But I'm just happy to be here.
Oh, you guys are allowed to be outside?
Yeah.
They get to roam wherever they want.
What?
Yeah. You don't have any restrictions at all, do you, Bobby Joe, in Utah?
Well, they not really. They'd say, well, we'd really like it if you would kind of stay around and everything.
But you guys are keeping your numbers down. You're less than Nevada.
Yeah.
So
well,
good for you.
I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
They're even more antisocial than we are.
There you go. That's what it is. You're more antisocial than we are. And we do like to talk music on your segment, but today we thought maybe from an entrepreneurial standpoint, you might want to share a little bit about your experience with this whole pandemic and what you're doing for your business, because you had things going. You had kids that were
events
taking advantage, and you mentioned last week that the moms were kind of like, no, we don't want to get together because we gotta be respectful of all this, and so here we are. So what are you doing about that?
Well, yeah, that's
and you're a sole proprietor, basically. So
yes, I'm a sole proprietor of this Blues and Kids, and everything kind of just stopped. In fact, I talked with a good friend about it was playing the clubs, and I says, well, are you playing anywhere? And he goes, oh no, the clubs have just stopped. There's no work nowhere, kind of a thing. So even if this thing, we had stopped doing our rehearsals and things. But I want to say that as we had talked earlier a couple of times during the week here, that last week, that this wonderful program, I'm applying for the PPP. And
all right.
I have a fun time saying that every time because you think it's
the Paycheck Protection Program.
Yes,
the PPP.
Yes.
Attaboy.
Yeah, and it's really just wonderful because my overhead, my wages, it's a sole proprietorship, so I'm just the only one that's really getting paid. But I'm paying my half of the rent here at our fifth wheel. We also, I have the utilities and stuff, and it works out. It's about $1,200 a month, and it just stopped. Funny how that those little checky poos just don't come in and all that, and the phone stops ringing. And sorry, and
right. So you're a real representative of a real average sole proprietor that works out of your home. That just everything stopped, and now what? Right?
Yeah.
Right? And so you're the guy that I say to, hey, you got to do something, right?
Right. And so I'm doing we're working on some things and maybe doing some instructional stuff online, but this wonderful program, the PPP thing, is I'm going to apply for that, and it really doesn't. You don't have to have a degree in accounting to fill this thing out, and it's really really nice because you ask for this money, and you have like in 60 days, so in 2 months, they can if you do what you say you're going to do, and they say that you do not have to pay the loan back if you pay the payroll and your rent and
So it kind of turns into a grant type situation as long as you follow the rules.
Right.
Save your receipts.
That's right.
Well, and that's
Right.
it. And boy, that's Janet. That's what we've rounded up everything and said I can prove that this is
Right.
the
And
money
that's-
that's going out and stuff. And,
And
Paper
that's,
trail.
no, it's true. And that's sort of what I was getting from the banks too, is as long as you comply with what this program says,
Right.
then you're going to be qualified, you're going to get the money, and it's going to work out the way that they say it is. So it sounds to me like you kind of figured that out already.
Yeah, well, and it's really nice. They say that you can get it for 6 months. You have within 2 months, they'll let you know that if you don't have to pay it back. If you got real greedy, and I'm sure there's people out there that are going to try to do some shim sham and go, well, this and that, and buy this and
there's
buy
always
that, or new, and you have 2 years to pay it off, and it's like 0.5%. So it's like a what or 0.5. Would it be a 0.5% or something? So what they just want you to, God, just be honest. Be a good American, and this is some relief, and it isn't a lot, but doggone it, every little bit helps, and
It does. And I actually got some feedback that I didn't have time. I hope you don't mind me sharing a little bit of this.
No.
There's another person in business that they said that they're on a waiting list to put in their application. So this is where the banks are saying, okay, we know we're going to get more money. We don't have it right now. My opinion, they should just take the apps. They know they're going to get the money eventually. But that's just my opinion.
Sure.
And the banks are overloaded. The processing is taking a while. But having read on a couple of forums that this businessman is on, he said that a couple of the companies have received their loans. So they are happening and they are getting funded. So that's good news to hear because, we're not hearing that from the media much, if I haven't heard it at all. But, it is happening. It's just, it's only been a week. They rolled out the program not last Friday, but the Friday before. How many banks do you know that are getting loans out in this amount of time?
It's ridiculous how quick they moved.
Yes.
And that's likely part of the challenge is it's not their money.
Right.
They're used to loaning their money, and this is not their money. It's federal money, so they need to know the rules.
Right.
You can do like I've done in the past, and that's go to Guido.
Yeah, my number's right here. My number's right here.
They'll show up that big old black Lincoln, and they'll split it to you. They'll get that money.
Yeah. He doesn't forgive too much of the loan.
I'm going to tell you right now, the IRS or the government's way worse than Guido. Guido will work on barter. Guido will work on barter.
But it's proud to be American, and it's just amazing all these different programs and how the government is trying to keep the boat afloat, and it's a good feeling. Now, of course, my big payroll, and my big dent in the what was it, $233 billion or something like that.
Right, but you know what?
I'm
like
gonna
I
get
said,
my 6-7 grand out of that. By damn, I'll tell you what. So Blues and Kids can conquer the world here, but
But you know, Bobby Joe, there's a lot of you out there. There are a lot of
I
sole
love that perspective because it's the same for me. It's like, guess what? You're getting a lawsuit. You're getting money back because you bought Roundup or something, right? There's they're awarded $5 million, and you get your check for $2.25. Right? It's the most ridiculous thing.
I know.
Right? I wonder if attorneys will win in this too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I'm sure they probably got some way.
Well, right, they're winning.
So Bobby Joe, I'm going to tell you about a story or actually a press release that I got right before I came to the studio, and it's relative to musicians. And it was from the Copyright Office. And so I'm going to share that link with you when I get back on my computer and send it to you. But next week I want to talk about it. It's the breakdown of what songwriters need to know about the Music Modernization Act and royalty payments. And it has to do with streaming services. So, and I know that sounds like a lot of gibberish, but I think it's really important. Yeah, it's how people are getting paid. There's a new law that went into effect, and it's going to affect every songwriter out there, and you're one of them.
Watch out.
So,
you know what happens.
I know.
Enhancements in the banking industry means you're getting it handed to you, right? It's the same thing. Enhancements mean less.
Yeah, but this is on streaming services,
Right.
so it's something that it's important for you to let your followers know about. So I will share that with you so you can read up on it. And next week you'll be a pro. Next week you'll be a pro. You and Janet can go over it, right?
Yeah. And there's one other thing these, like I said, the Utah Blues Festival and the Utah Arts Festival and Arts in the Park and all these people, they just said, well, I'm sorry, but we've canceled. But then they came back, and this was another wonderful thing. It says, well, you're a musician and your business, and it's music and everything, and there's a program out there that you can
go ahead quickly.
Gotta get their insurance and stuff. It's the damnedest thing, yeah.
All right, very good.
So that was it. I was real happy.
We'll talk again about it all next week. And this is Bobby Joe Holman and Blues and Kids. We'll be back in just a few.
It's your worldwide invite to Barbecue, the Butcher's Kitchen. Perfection in tri-tip, rib tips, and brisket. Rotisserie chicken with the white sauce. All hardwood smoked. Old world sausage aged to perfection. Wood smoke fire. Barbecue, the Butcher's Kitchen. 7689 South Virginia. Call in and pick up dinner. Barbecue, the Butcher's Kitchen. Get in and get real.
As humans, we ask ourselves all kinds of questions. But what if we were forced to ask ourselves a question every day that affected the outcome of the most basic things, the most important things in our lives? The question is, what is your sexual orientation or gender identity? And the answer is the difference between keeping your job or getting fired. The answer is the difference between staying in your home or getting evicted. The answer is the difference between receiving medical treatment or not. Because in 31 states, it's legal to discriminate against people based on their answer to this question. LGBT Americans have the right to say I do, but they don't have the same basic rights as everyone else. Get the facts at beyondido.org. Brought to you by the Gill Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. I help people solve difficult and trying personal problems every day on my TV show, but there's one problem that's just got me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. That's 1 in 5 kids who may not know where their next meal is coming from, despite the fact that there's more than enough healthy, nutritious food out there to feed them all. Now, I don't know about you, but that is unacceptable to me. Luckily, the Feeding America network of good people is out there collecting surplus food and giving hope to hungry children and their families at local food banks all across the country. But let's face it, they can't do it without your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council. Together, we can solve hunger.
Together, we're feeding America.
The nonprofit Reno Sparks Assistance League Thrift Shop is the main source of funding for 12 philanthropic programs. Staffed and managed by all member volunteers, they are proud of their reputation as one of the best and friendliest thrift shops in the Reno Sparks area. Their members work hard to make sure the merchandise is always of good quality, clean, and priced fairly. Come see for yourself at 1701 Vassar Street in Reno, open 10 to 4, Monday through Saturday.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station, the power of radio since 1967.
The story of my life, I give her all, I spend her love until she's broken inside. The story of my life. The story.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now back to the show.
It's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up with your host, Jason Hadley. Lori Loughlin was dealt a blow in her defense after federal prosecutors presented a picture of her daughter on a rowing machine that Loughlin emailed to help cheat her daughter's way into USC's athletics department. Loughlin's husband argued that they should have sent chest-deep pool pictures to get her on the synchronized swimming team, or the other heated debate over Roe versus Wade. Receiving pressure from ESPN and their parent company Disney, UFC honcho Dana White postponed a fight night due to coronavirus scheduled for later this month. Dana White was quick to abide by Disney's request, as historically things have not gone well dealing with mice during a plague. Kim Kardashian was attempting to shoot a makeup tutorial during self-quarantine when her daughter North kept interrupting and eventually getting on Kim's last nerve. So it seems the real story here is that Kim's Botox clinic missed a spot. And that's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up. Follow us on Twitter at Rockin' Wrap-Up.
Welcome back. And it is time for Brian T. Shirley and the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up.
I was going to say, they always bring nuggets. You got
can
nuggets.
I say? Brian T. Shirley in the BTS Entertainment Corner. Oh, I'm off my game.
You broke your routine.
It's probably good for me. Hey, Brian.
Well, I got to say, first of all, Ed was talking about the shift. So I'll tell you what my shift is. What happened was I picked up more shifts delivering pizza. So there you go.
Hey, we all do what we got to do. That humbling thing, man. Hey, my hat's off to you. I love it. Been there, done that.
Absolutely.
As a matter of fact, that's why I wasn't here last week. And yeah, I mean, I you got to make money. So I'm doing that in between everything else, which is the other shift is that, and I'll give you an example of this. I just found out I'm involved with something called the Quarantine Collective, which is going to be a short film. And what this lady named Sarah is doing is she's taking videos from people that are talking about the very same things that kind of occurred today, like what's going on in your world since this pandemic. And the videos are 3 minutes or shorter. And what she's doing is she's going to put those together, and it's going to be a short film. And she's taking them from just all over the place. I think today may have been the last day, but I did put it up on What's the Story, a link to everything. So even if you just wanted to see what it was about. So that's the other shift. It's the change in what's going on with entertainment. Obviously, no live gatherings are going on right now. And I talked to my buddy Lance Morrison, who we discussed on this program. He's in Dine with the Devil, the documentary. He's a deacon on Righteous Gemstones. So we were talking about acting and entertainment because he's a comedian too. And I think it's going to be different. It's going to be a different world for all of us. But entertainment, I believe, is going to change too once we go back to quote unquote normal. I don't see. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I just don't see a lot of big live entertainment things coming back that quick, because I think people are going to be a little nervous about gathering in groups for a while. What do you guys think?
So I think that they're scared to death. However, they're going to go to ball games. They're going to go to baseball games. They're going to go to sporting events.
If they allow them to.
And they'll go to big
in.
draws, because I think people are just crazed to go. right? They're missing stuff.
I think that's a little different, Ed, because it's outside. So I think people might even look at that a little different because it is outside. I mean, I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping they go back.
I get what you're saying, and I agree with you. But I do think that sports are going to do well, and I do think people are going to go there, and then after they go there and see they're not going to get sick, maybe they'll get normal and come see you.
Right. They've got to get reacclimated to being around crowds and stuff. And the sports events and things like that probably going to be the first to bring people out. And like you say, big draws. We'll see how concerts do.
Well, I think it's going to be hard because for a while I think they're going to force them to change the dynamic of how you sit. And when you do that, it changes the income. It changes so many things. And so how do you accommodate that, right?
So how are they going to screen people? Because know they're going to screen people somehow going into this stuff. So that's the other thing is how much of it is it going to disrupt people just trying to get out? Are they going to be taking everybody's temperature when you walk?
I don't think they can. I mean, I personally don't think they can.
Right.
Our favorite talking head here in Reno was talking today, and he said over the weekend he watched a couple of replays of old sports events, and he said, I really enjoyed them. I knew how they're going to end.
They've been on for 6 weeks.
Well, that's the thing. So you're right. It's like pent-up demand here. There's the sports, when they go live again, it's going to be like opening the floodgates.
Yeah, you think so? Okay. And I'll tell you this much, Doug. Clyde Cussler actually has a big connection here with Charleston. I don't know if you knew that, but he was basically responsible, if not a great deal, almost totally, for raising the Hundley here. You know what the Hundley is?
Yeah, it was a ship, right?
Submarine. It was actually probably the world's first submarine. It was a submarine during the Civil War that got lost in the harbor.
He writes about it in one of his books.
And Clyde Cussler not only found it, but they raised the Hundley. I think there's a video out, as a matter of fact, called Raise the Hundley. And he was a big proponent of that because, well, you said it earlier, Dirk Pitt from NEMA, that's one of his main characters.
That's right, yeah. He's a rock star.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sad that he passed away, but when you said Clyde Cussler earlier, I thought, I bet he doesn't even know that the connection with Charleston guy has. I tell you what, you guys come out to Charleston, I'll go, and I haven't seen the Hundley yet, and I still want to go, and it's like maybe 10 minutes from my house. They've raised it, and they've got a museum.
You gonna let us sleep on your couch, Brian?
No, I think the Hundley has guest quarters.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, you got to see the story on this thing. The guys that, of course, the average height of people back then in the 1860s was 5'10" or something like that. But these guys had to be even smaller than that to get in this thing. And I believe there was 5 or 6 of them in there. And it's an interesting story. Look it up. It's called the Hundley.
Yeah, that's like the first spaceship.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
The technology behind it was amazing.
Hey, we can't let this go without notice. Did you see how intelligent Ed is? When they asked a question, he had an answer and it was right on. I mean,
that never happened.
Yeah, his depth of knowledge is unbelievable, isn't it?
Just incredible.
Are y'all paying each other over there now or something? What's going on?
You know what? I'm really on guard because I don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Right? I'm here face to face. I mean, we're 6 feet away.
Of course.
Yeah, that's right.
But we're in the same aquarium.
But before I forget, because I do have the big news to get to, this Wednesday, Netflix Outer Banks is premiering, and this is I don't know. I've seen the trailer. I think it's pretty good. If you need to, I can share it again, but I think I shared it. It's called Outer Banks. It was filmed here in Charleston. I got to do some background in it. Will my scenes be cut? But anyway, it was shot here. It's 10 episodes, and I've seen the trailer, and it looks really good. But that's this Wednesday, premiering on Netflix, folks.
Woo-hoo.
Outer Banks.
It's a killer name.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah. And if you check out the trailer, it looks pretty good. And the 4 kids you're going to see, I say kids, they're in their 20s, but they were, there was a scene I shot that I was at a table with some other extras, and they were sitting there talking to us. They're real nice kids. But if you watch the trailer, you'll see the main 4 actors that I got to just kind of talk with a little bit. But well, more on this as that one goes, because I think I'm in episode 3 and 6, I believe. But you don't know. You don't know what got on the table. You know, you'll see me probably for a split second if you see me. But
it's all right. You're there, Brian. You're there. That's what counts.
And the other thing is, me and my buddy Will Roberts put out an episode of a web series, and that's what's going on too. Another shift. Everybody's shooting stuff where they're at now and trying to piece together these things to make web series, short films, and it's a different world with shooting stuff now. Because
but that's good that you're trying. That's good.
You know, if you have an extra in your thing, it's your dad, you know, or whoever's in the house, your kids, you know, that's your co-stars now. So it's really a different world. I actually had somebody.
Your dog.
Right, exactly. I had a guy from Europe where I was supposed to do a film with them last year, and not go over there, but shoot it remotely. And he's wanting to put together something now and asking me to send him pictures of my house, and do I have any friends that I could pull in to do scenes with. It's really changed. This quarantine has really changed a lot of stuff about everything.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say one of the challenges then, right, is everybody's doing that. So what's unique?
Right.
Right. Best.
You really have to make yourself stand out now.
No, I think it's going to be the person who has the coolest family member. Right? Whoever it's the guest spot.
There you go.
I had a comedian call me and said he saw these other comedians doing stand-up from their house, sitting in their chair, you know, and it's like, oh my God, this is getting a little bit over the top now. I'm not going to do it. You won't see me doing that.
There you go.
I don't know.
All right, you got about 30
I
seconds, my friend. Let's do this.
BrianTShirley.com. Check me out, and keep listening, folks, and watching.
Yes, please do. This is What's the Story, and we do have another segment, so please don't go away. We'll be back, and Doug may even have some things to talk about. You never know. We shall see.
What?
All right, Brian, thank you so much. That was the BTS Entertainment Corner, and we will be back after these messages from our sponsors.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
I spend a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain, sleet, and mud. In '95, I helped tow your moving trailer. In '05, I helped you get out of a ditch. Yeah, I know I'm a bit rusty, and sadly in '09, it was sparks from me, your handy chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Sparks from dragging chains can start a wildfire. Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
1 in 3 adults in America have pre-diabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Here's 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom my. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
Hey, welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermson. I'm here with Doug Ashby and Ed Knoll.
Howdy, hi.
And this is our last segment of the show, and we try and keep it light at this point when we can. We haven't always done that, but I thought today, first I'm going to lead off with something after I said that. I'm going to lead off with something that's a little bit serious, but then I'm going to jump to some trivia that you guys are going to like.
You're going to pivot.
I am going to pivot.
How about serious trivia?
Yeah.
It is kind of serious trivia. It's a press release I received just like moments before I was ready to shut down my computer.
Hot off the press.
Hot off the press. Really wasn't hot off the press, but it's what I found hot off the press at the end of the day for me. And it talks about older entrepreneurs being as successful as their younger counterparts, as study revealed. And it just caught my eye because we always hear about that the young entrepreneurs, they're, the startups, all of that. And so I had to read it. And it basically is exactly what they're talking about. They're saying that correcting people's negative stereotypes about older entrepreneurs and encouraging people at later life stages to engage in entrepreneurship is important. The United States has an increasing population of older adults, well, we have for quite a while, that have skills and knowledge valuable to society, and this study helps to illustrate their strengths. But the part I really loved, and the reason that I wanted to talk about this, is that it also says, I should have underlined it, right? It talks about women and the fact that us old ladies really do very well. Our findings suggest women should not give up too readily because their chance of success increases as they move to later life stages, and their perseverance ultimately tends to pay off. So see all that perseverance I have, it's going to pay off for me.
Money in the bank.
What's interesting is if you listen to the CDC, anybody over 60 is considered elderly.
Yes, I love that.
Well,
Isn't
right.
that amazing?
So come on, though. Come on, though. The CDC, what's their job?
To make people feel bad?
Man, their job's like no one gets sick, so they want social distancing 24/7, right? Their job is doesn't have an economic role.
Yeah.
Well, so there you go. There's my little tidbit of seriousness about, which isn't very serious.
I think it's interesting because us old fogies.
Yeah, well, they're talking about how, they're always talking about how younger people do very well and their enthusiasm, their energy. I've always thought it was odd because not that they couldn't do that and not that they shouldn't be lauded for their success. But older people have the benefit of so many things. And I've always thought this, even when I was a young 20-something, I thought this. So, and I always wonder, why don't they recognize the value that those people bring? And they do at SCORE, right? You're supposed to retire and then share all your knowledge. Makes no sense to me. Anyway, I'm just going to keep doing what I do. And And talk about chocolate. How about that for a pivot?
Ooh,
Chocolate?
Nice.
Chocolate. Milk chocolate or dark chocolate? Which is the favorite, do you think, that most adults prefer?
I don't like chocolate.
You don't. My husband doesn't like chocolate either.
Well, it's not that I don't like it. It's just that it's not one of my favorites.
No, not his either.
So the PC answer is dark chocolate, but milk chocolate's got to be a bigger number because it's in everything.
Most adults prefer
I like
milk
it better.
chocolate to dark. I prefer dark, but then
Yeah, but you're like woman with
an
class.
old woman.
I didn't say that.
Elderly.
I said woman with class.
There you go. I love it.
Right. There's no guy that likes dark chocolate. I'll tell you right now. They just
I don't know that.
They wolf 1 pound bunnies of milk chocolate.
Okay. All right. Giving eggs this is Easter driven, right? Stuff. So giving eggs is a symbol of rebirth in many cultures. The egg symbolizes new life, fertility, and rebirth in many places around the world. Oh, it's just color them and find them to me. Sorry.
Yeah, me too. I'm not really.
Scramble them, poach them.
I'm kind of with you. Birds don't really like, right?
Yeah,
they're not that warm and fuzzy.
Thanks to the rounded shape, it's also been used as a symbol of the earth and our connection with nature. La, la, la. Where's the music?
That's pretty deep.
It's pretty deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not very light, is it?
Yeah.
All right. How about jelly beans? How many jelly beans will Americans consume?
Wow.
How about 16 million? I'll bet they didn't consume.
I was gonna say I was gonna like debunk your fact right there, but you beat me to it.
Okay,
Yep.
what's your favorite? What's your favorite color?
Jelly bean?
Yeah.
I'm not that. You know
Black
what? It's
jelly
just
beans.
bulk. It's
Black
just bulk
jelly beans.
processed
Oh yeah,
sugar.
I'm with you. I
Black
love
jelly
licorice.
beans.
Yeah.
Yep, licorice.
Yep.
Gotta have it. I don't care about the others. Red's
And
okay.
they don't put enough in the mix,
No,
do they?
I
It's
just
because
buy all
people
the
don't
black.
like
Yeah.
it. There's a real
know.
line there.
I
I
know
don't.
there
I don't
is.
like it.
I know most people don't. So that's enough jelly beans to circle the globe not once, not twice, but 3 times, or to fill a plastic egg the size of a 9-story building. That's a lot of jelly beans.
So how wide is that egg?
I have
Okay.
no
Who
idea.
is the president that loved jelly beans?
I know.
I do too.
Do you know?
Oh, Ed'll know. Ed'll know. Come on.
No
think
idea.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, that's
Reagan.
easy. One of our favorite. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ronald
Reagan.
Reagan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, pretzels are linked to Easter. Were you familiar with that? That pretzels and Easter are 2 peas in a pod? Had no idea.
Me neither.
Supposedly it's because the twists of the pretzel look like arms crossed in prayer. I think that's a stretch. I'm sorry.
Man, that's
Yeah.
ridiculous. That sounds like
right.
somebody just made pretzels and made up that story to sell
To
it.
be able to have pretzels.
Right. Yeah. Right. That sounds totally made up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe it is. This is by housebeautiful.com. That's where I'm getting all this stuff. The world's largest chocolate egg was made in Italy. The world's largest chocolate Easter egg was made in Italy in April 2011, probably a Guinness Book of World Record thing. Measured 34 feet and 1.05 inches in length and weighed approximately 15,873 pounds.
Wow.
Oh man, can you imagine how many cavities that was?
No way, man. I bet I could eat that thing in 2 days.
Yeah.
You probably could. You know what I forgot? Oh, you guys, I forgot I had some stuff for you and I left it on my table.
Oh man.
Oh, bummer. Yeah.
Yeah.
What can I
It
tell you?
It'll work next week.
Oh, and decorating eggs, no.
Oh.
Comes from a Ukrainian tradition. The ornate eggs were called, I'm going to say it wrong, but I'll say it, pisankas, which were made by using wax and dyes. It wasn't until Ukrainian immigrants came to the United States that the colorful custom caught on.
Yeah.
So also you'll know like the Eastern Europeans and stuff drank out of glasses that couldn't be set down. Right? So you had the egg-shaped glasses and they give it to you, you can't set it down, you have to imbibe. You have to drink it because it won't stand.
That's interesting.
It's got that rounded bottom on it, and that was the purpose. It made you drink.
In lumber yards, they would have a 55-gallon bucket with water, and the smaller buckets attached to it had a round bottom to them too. So they couldn't be used for any. Nobody would steal them because you couldn't set them down.
Right.
So yeah, that was a good pivot, wasn't it?
Interesting.
You know,
How'd I do?
Debbie was really good at coloring Easter eggs with the grandkids, with the kids. Matter of fact, she used to still keep people off the street. Here, have an egg. You know, look at the guy. Isn't that a neat color? You know, I mean, she really did that well. I think, well, you look back, and those are just fun times for the kids.
Yeah, it really is. So when do you think the first White House Easter egg roll was done? What year do you think?
That's interesting. Probably a lot back further than you think.
A lot back further.
Is it way back?
Way back.
FDR.
Like 1878.
Really?
Yes.
It's got to be one of those losers like Hardin.
Rutherford B. Hayes. Everybody goes, who is that?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a household name.
He was the president.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it was President Nixon who first included a bunny in the festivities, with a member of his wife's staff as the lucky person who got to wear the costume. Oh, boy.
Wow.
Well, you know, that's interesting. How do you link an Easter egg with a bunny? Now, that takes some skill.
Oh, I got one more for you. I don't want to run out of time. It used to take more than a day to make a peep. Right? You guys know what peeps are, right?
I had one
Did
yesterday.
You have? I can imagine.
Okay.
All right. Approximately 27 hours to be precise. That was back in 1953 when each candy was handmade with a pastry tube. But today they have machines.
What? They're not handmade today?
They sped up the process to just 6 minutes. How about that? And Americans eat more than 600 million peeps during Easter. How many do you think it was this year? I don't know. They didn't say. But I'm sure it wasn't 600 million.
I was going to say one thing. There'll be a bunch of stale peeps.
Oh, yeah.
But peeps aren't as, they're okay stale.
They're all right.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're that good fresh.
Well, right. They're the same.
Yeah.
But they're peeps.
You know what?
You know
what? You might put some in the bunker for like in case we have like a coronavirus scare or something.
Do you remember?
They aren't the right color, and we only have 30 seconds, so we gotta hit the road here.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna be back next week.
Okay.
Hopefully we can keep it light and airy, and maybe not talk about loans. And we'll try. Oh no, actually we're gonna talk about housing and the homeless. So it'll still be a little bit heavy, but we'll do something light too. All right. So we will be back with you next week. And we hope you will be here too. And I'll be on with Basil tomorrow at 3 right here on the same station. So this is What's the Story? We'll be back next week.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.